Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Mel. I'm so excited about today. Sorry we were so late, but you know how technical things happen. It gets crazy. And, we're still, this format seems to be working really well, but, just got to make sure we don't have any back feed so we don't go gibba gabba, gibba gibba gabba gabba, whatever. So what I'd like you to do, I'm opening up the chat room. Oh, there I go. See, I told you. Hey, that's me talking. I'm going to mute everything, silent. So, hello, Sharon. Welcome. She's in the chat room. And people that are going to come in, please come on into the chat room. And we're going to have a conversation. And I'm really looking forward to today. And it's been an incredible day, all day today. It's been very, very interesting. And, I'm just excited about this. So I want to introduce my guest. And the thing is I have a really hard time with names that I don't know. It's a dyslexic thing inside of me. I just don't know how to control it. So what I want to do is I want to introduce Tammy Battista. She went through it with me. Here we go. Hello, Tammy. Welcome.
Thank you. Got there?
What?
Battista. You got very close.
Battista. Yeah, I even broke it down to Battista. So I even broke it down to that. So it's hysterical. Oh, this is going to be it's going to be interesting. We're kind of making sure that there's no audio that's bouncing off, and that, I'm hearing everything. We have a few people that are watching the show, but if you're watching the show, please come into the chat room because I want to know you guys, who you are. I want to say hello. So every once in a while, I'll stop and say hello. And then at the very end of it, we're going to open it up to questions. And so Tammy, let me tell you my experience with Tammy. Let's watch her face when I say this. Last year, when I was here, at our family home in Michigan, I was able to Sharon says, good evening. Good evening. I went to the I went to the Violet Flame Healing Center for a meditation on a Monday morning. No, I think it was in the evening. I think I went in the evening. So I went to one of the Chrystal Bowls, events, and I've heard Chrystal Bowls before, but I heard it with great big. I'm hearing some feedback, some noises. I don't know what it is, but so. And the minute I walked into the Violet Flame, I want to go Velvet Flame for some reason. That's where I always pause. It's like Blue Velvet. You know how that song is. So I walked in and Tammy was there to greet me. And I just felt as if I've known her forever. And we had quite an experience together. I probably won't go into it right now because the story is about Tammy. It's not about me. So what I want to do is, so Tammy, tell people a little teeny bit about yourself because we're going to get into more detail. So did you grow up in Michigan or where did you grow up in?
I'm having a hard time hearing you, Mel.
Yeah, I think that's what I've noticed. There's some clicking. You have headphones on or you have them off?
I have headphones on. Should I put them on?
Yeah, let's try that. This is what
going out.
and I'm
one word out of every. Okay, I'll put my headphones on.
And Tammy's in a place where she has really slow Wi-Fi too, so bear with us. Is that better? Testing 1, 2, 3.
It's about the same.
I can hear you really
Yeah,
well.
it lots of blips.
Yeah, I can hear you really well now. Before I really couldn't. There was more blips in it. So this is let's see if we can get on through this evening. I mean, this is Robin is watching. Welcome, Robin. And so we're trying to get through an evening with because the reason why we're repeating this is because 2 weeks ago we tried it at the studio and we had all of this audio problem. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute
Mhm.
mics as we talk. So when I get done talking, I'll mute my mic and then Tammy can answer questions. And I think maybe that will work too. We're going to try that out and see if that I can hear every sound she makes. So, which is okay. This is not, these things make you learn things. And Tammy, I didn't tell her she needed headphones, so there was a big problem with that, and I should have told her, and that I apologize for. I have these headphones, and they go with Apple, and I don't have an Apple computer. So let's start out. So Tammy, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up, and before you got into what we're going to talk about, what did you do for a living?
And I'm getting so little of what you're saying. Did you ask what for this before the violet flame? And
Yeah, I
was that the
asked you.
question? Because I'm hardly getting any. Okay.
I'm going to open.
Okay. Yes,
I'm going to open up the private chat. Can you see the private chat on the screen right now?
Can I see the
Yeah, I'm
screen?
going to say hello to you. This is.
Yeah, I don't see any of
You know
the.
what? I'm going to ask you to do.
No.
I'm going to ask you to
I
do
mean, should I
this.
press on that?
No, we're going to get smart here, you
Okay,
guys.
it just had a 1.
I'm going to see if we
Okay.
can get Tammy to come on through Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to
You're
be able to.
hello.
Hello. Oh, you saw my hello. Okay, so I'm going to type in some of my questions,
Okay.
and
Hi.
so
Okay.
don't correct my spelling.
All right. All right. I out of that. Okay. Okay. Should I go back in the chat? Because I did say the chat where it said hello, and I said hi back.
Oh no, this is I'm asking you a
Not that
question, and you
I'm.
can.
Do try and turn off the Wi-Fi because I'm not hearing you at all. I'm just hearing like specks of
Okay,
you.
and we're going to lose you again. So I think what we're going to try to do
Okay.
is
I mean,
I want.
if you're hearing me all right, I'll just ramble a little bit of
Yeah,
my
well, no, I
story.
put a question in the chat room for you in your chat, in our private
Okay.
chat room. Remember I said hello?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So I respond hi.
Yes, and then I put in a thing that says, "Tell us
Okay.
about yourself before you got into awakening."
Oh, okay. Before awakening, I feel like I was always on that. I think we are all always on that process, that river, that flow of awakening. But I used to be a teacher. I was a middle school teacher, mostly math and English for over 30 years in South Warren, not too far from where the center is and where Mel is right now. And I was doing okay. I was going to go another 2 or 3 years. It was getting difficult. We have a difficult population that struggles with education, and but I was still managing. And but then my husband had passed unexpectedly three years ago. Just threw me into all sorts of emotions and grief, and how do I get 4 kids through college when I made a fraction of what my husband made, and um, threw me into my own healing. And I tried grief groups, I tried everything, mostly more on the in the all. I did not migrate towards regular therapy. And even though many of my friends suggested because I was, I had a hard time functioning. I had a hard time waking up, sleeping, managing my life, making any little decisions was tough. So I started off just going to local psychics and just tell me my life's going to be okay. Um, and in the meantime, I was also opening. I was getting so many messages from my husband. I had always been a big believer of the afterlife. So um, songs, birds, numbers, dreams, everything. And but about 7 months after his passing, I hit a really tough part of my dark night of the soul. And I just reached out and just begged the universe, please send me answers. Please help me want to stay on this planet. Do that to my kids. I couldn't leave my kids. I had to function somewhat so they can sort of have a home base that's stable. So, and the universe started sending me sign after sign. Go here. I learned. Someone told me about meetups, so I found um, different practices, different meditations, different people that I resonated with. A whole new tribe, and I just opened up more. Opened to, I call them the tingles. I have these strange tingles that I'm sure most of you get, almost like someone playing with my hair. I used to think it was my husband. It could be, I don't know. But I would get this tingle anytime I knew I was supposed to do this next thing, go to this next meetup, go to a trip. I was, ended up climbing the Red Rocks of Sedona with shaman and, going to England, and going to Stonehenge and participating in drum circles and just listening, just anything. People thought I was losing my mind. I sort of was, but I was awakening. I was ascending, and I was journaling every single day. And it started off with rough. I hate to go back and read that stuff, but it is interesting to see how much I've changed in the last 3 years. Um, but
So,
a huge, huge. Oh, go ahead.
so Tammy, what was your first experience? You've talked about the story about going to Ann Arbor and studying with someone. I would love for you to be able to tell that story and how you heard
Okay.
the bells bowls for the very
Crystal
first time.
bowls. Yeah, I several psychics. The theme of the psychic. I must have seen over 50 psychics in the medium psychics. I just wanted to hear messages from my husband, but I just kept hearing the same theme that you're a healer. You're a healer. I'm like, no, I'm a teacher. No, you're a healer. And I finally said, I don't even know what that means. And I was told I was a healer in past lives. I was a shaman, did, the medicine work. And um, so a few of them said, just take a Reiki class. I had no clue what a Reiki class was. I was a math teacher. So I finally committed. All right, I'm going to do this Reiki class. And I let spirit, I was already getting good at, just surfing the web. Where should I stop? I was allowing spirit to guide me, and it stopped on this man, John Steinbauer, 22 lunar. And it did make sense. He was like an hour and a half away from my house. I'm sure there were many other Reiki classes I could have taken, um, 15 minutes away, but whatever. That's what Spirit told me to go to. So I went, signed up. I happened to be his only student that weekend. It was a 3-day session, and the first day, um, he pulled out these bowls. His were all white, and he had 3 or 5 of them. And he just had me sit in the, asana pose and, try to meditate. I was still not good at meditating. Um, and he played these bowls for, it seemed like a day, but I think it was 2 hours. And it was pretty much one of the most annoying experiences I ever had. Just being uncomfortable, having my hands up like this for 2 hours, nothing to rest my shoulders on, and 2 of them just felt like nails on a chalkboard. And So I went home and he did, did some attunements, Reiki attunements, and that was nice. But I went home and told my neighbor, "Oh my goodness, these bowls are so awful. I wouldn't even go back, but I already paid him for 3 sessions." So I went back the next day, and there he goes with the bowls. And I said, "Do I have to leave my hands like this?" It just was so uncomfortable. Um, and he's like, "Well, try as long as you can. And then if you, whatever, be in receptive pose." So I did that. So I had no expectations, or my expectations were pretty low, pretty negative. And it was within probably 10 minutes that, and again, I don't think I ever truly meditated. I did some work with YouTube videos, and allowed me to sleep longer and allowed me to function a little bit better at work. But I was just within 10 minutes. There was a man to my right, and I knew he was my guide, and I was just having this casual conversation with him in my head. Oh, hello, where are we going? And we were just walking. We walk up to a circle that happened to have many of my relatives, but it took me a while to finally ask him, like, "Who are you? You must be my spirit guide, huh?" And he just nodded, and he had a mask, and then he took it off, and like an odd, like golden, reminded me of the medieval, or the 1700s, the fancy mask. He's violet, wearing violet purple, and he just said, "Well, my name is Saint Germain. People refer to me as Saint Germain." I'm like, I had never heard of Saint Germain. Like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting." And I commented, because he had it reminded me of like velvet, very ornate dress, and ruffles. I said, "Oh, you remind me of Prince." And he just nodded. He's like, "Yeah, he's one of my friends," or something. It was just so bizarre. But he took me, it felt like lifetimes. I had an experience with a child that I had miscarried, and I knew this was my child when he sat on my lap in this like utopia, beautiful scene. It reminded me of Greece. I've never been there, but that was my imagination, and water all around. And this child just sat and told me, "Mommy, you're going to go back and teach everyone how to live like us." Um, because I would look around, and I just saw nothing but bliss and happiness and people and laughter and joy. And that was the message. That was the message of my life. "Mommy, you're going to go back and teach everybody just to do what they love. And then everyone will live like this. Everyone will be happy." I'll never forget that. This little curly hair, little 4 or 5 year old sitting, he's about the age of my grandson right now, sitting on my lap telling me this. And Saint Germain took me other places. And when I came out of it, my Reiki master knew that I had had this amazing experience. He's like, "Please journal." So I journaled for over an hour, and it was funny because my writing, when I go back, it took on a form that looked like a grail, reminded me of like a cup, a grail, a chalice. And I told him, I said, "Yeah, I think I met my spirit guides." He called himself Saint Germain, and he's like, "You met Saint Germain?" I'm like, "He's a thing?" I knew not. He's like, "You go home and you research." So it just blew my mind that he was a thing, and he's an amazing thing, and it's all about awakening the heart chakra, which I didn't even know what a chakra was at that time. But
So when
yeah,
when you tell the story for people that have not gone through an enlightenment or awakening, what are their reactions to it? I would love to know their reactions.
it's
How do you explain it to someone? If that a
it
spirit guide.
Yeah, it's not, I don't explain it to many. I started talking to my daughter about it, and I got the okay. And I had already been going to shamanic circles, and I had already been to Sedona and stuff. So she knew I was changing, to say the least. And so I saw the eyes. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna keep this on the DL for a while. And but I would know when I was comfortable enough for someone to hear this story. And in the circles I was, Ferndale's a very aware, awakening community around us. So whenever I went to Ferndale, I felt comfortable. And there were other people. "Oh, Saint Germain, he's my guy too." There was even like cards oracle decks with Saint Germain. I met a girl that had that, and because she picked up right away. I see purple all around you. You're Saint Germain. And violet flame, using the violet flame of healing. But it was interesting. Like about a month and a half after that experience, I'm going through the meetup. I feel like doing something today, and I see a meetup. Oh, the Violet Flame Healing Center, 2 miles from my house. I had never heard of it. Is having an open house today. So I'm like, okay, I have to go there. And that's when I first met my partner. She's one of my partners now. And, and I wasn't terribly blown away by the experience, but it was nice meeting her. And I just signed in. I came in towards the end of the open house, and I guess we had a little chat. I didn't even remember, but she called me. It was 3 or 4 months after that. And she's like, I really need a Reiki healer. I know you're a Reiki healer. And at that point, I've been going to Reiki shares and practicing on my dog and my kids and my grandson, but not doing it professionally. I was still teaching. And I went to say no, and spirit just shot that yes out of my mouth. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this thing. And the next Thursday, I did my first official. It was a real cool series, Healing Through the Chakras. And every week it was a different chakra. And she's a therapist. She did art therapy with the group. She would do meditation first and then start art therapy project. And one by one, they would come back to me and I do a quick, 15, 20-minute Reiki session. And I knew I was becoming very intuitive, but I didn't trust it enough. Well, messages I guess it's common when you're a healer that messages just shot out. And it was always pertaining to the person's block. What was blocking them from living their best life? Spirit would just like, but what's up with your son but
so when this all first started, I mean, let's talk time span, okay? From going to Ann Arbor to where you were at when you met your business partner and at the Violet Flame. So what was the time span between and did you doubt yourself at any time that this was really happening? Or was there any doubt within inside of you? Because I understand that. I mean, I hear, I speak to spirit guides and, I've spent years, even this morning, I said to myself, am I imagining all this shit?
Yeah.
I mean, there was just no other way to explain it. And no, I mean, the history. So how long of a time spirit did it take you to go to Ann Arbor, become a Reiki master or healer, and to accepting it? I mean, this is something that I think is very, very fascinating because people that will watch this now and then watch this in the future. And I want to say hello to Sandra. She came in the chat room and watching this.
Hi, Sandra.
But watching the evolution, and you can call it enlightenment, you can call it awakening, you can call it, I don't know, but it all happens a similar way. And so explain, how did you accept it? And then when you came out to your family members, how did they accept it?
Right. I always had an odd thing, with, I would just say, I just know, just trust me. I just know. And so I had these feelings since a child about certain things, drugs, medications, that the vaccines, different things. I just always knew. And I was old enough to know it's like, okay, it came true. See, I always knew, but I never labeled myself. I'm psychic. I always knew I was intuitive. But so the Reiki, the first Reiki master, the class was almost exactly 2 years ago. It was end of June of 2018. Right away, I knew, because there was something with my hands always too. People always commented your hands are they would be burning hot sometimes. And I would touch people and they were, oh my gosh, you gave me the chills, the shivers, whatever. So I always knew there was something with my hands, and he picked up on that right away. the Reiki master, and he picked up on my intuitive abilities. The last 2 hours of the class was me reading him and telling him, all about, he was interested about his twin flame, and he just, I could not believe he trusted me so much, and he just kept giving me question after question. And because I was in trust and we had meditated so much, it was just like, okay, he's like, just trust anything that comes to your brain. And I did. So, and then I started right away. He's like, you're a medium. You're an intuitive. You're psychic. You're a medium. Trust it. And I've heard that several times too. So I started. There's mediumship circles where we go practice. So I would do that. And Donna Lake's in the area. She's amazing. She had these amazing circles that we could practice and trust. And but yeah, from the day one that I did that first Reiki at Jessica's first center, it was just down the road here. I just knew, yep, this is my calling. And because a big part of it was my writing too, because I would write and document everything, because I would go back. I'm like, this is crazy. This is just too nuts. It's just a coincidence that I said, has your son passed? And, is he 17? Yes. It was just too many things that was happening that, why. And I didn't understand how it correlated with the Reiki and the energy healing and all that. But it just happened so fast because I opened myself up to spirit to trust. It was trust.
Trusting is really important, trusting yourself. And hello, Sandy is in. Sandy also, she came to your class with her daughter, Jamie. Hello.
Oh.
Yes.
Hi, Sandy and Jamie.
Not your class. Yeah, your meditation. So.
Oh, they came to the meditation. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my
so
gosh.
I think her daughter's going to be coming.
Jamie's in California, right?
Yes.
Is Jamie in California? Yes.
Yes.
Oh wow.
And I hope that I can see her when I go back. So she says hello.
Yeah. Hello. Oh, beautiful souls.
What we're doing is I'm muting my mic so when she talks, there's no interference. I'm paying very close attention to what's going on. And Sandy goes, yes. Sandy, you got to go back. Go back on a Monday morning or in the evening and experience it again, because it sure changes your life for the better. And it's become my home away from home for meditation. And I want to tell the audience that are here that she's going to be doing her Chrystal Bowls. You see how I paused with that one? So what I'm going to do is we're about halfway, a little bit over halfway of the show already, believe it or not. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take her out of frame. And then she's going to go and sit by her bowls and set up her camera, making sure. And then, Tammy, when you're sitting in front, I will be able to see you. And then you're going to be able to go like this to me. And then I'll put you in full frame. I'll mute my mic. And then when you see the two frames come up again, you know that it's time to go back into the closer view. Okay? For the questions and answers.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Sounds
so
good. Okay.
I'm going to take her out right now. I'm going to be the sole person. You're going to hear me. I'm going to mute her mic too right now. Okay. So yeah, it was a wonderful experience of getting to know Tammy and getting to see what she's capable of doing with the Chrystal Bowls. And I've been able to go really, really deep and far. I mean, I've experienced so many amazing things in my time here by going to her classes in St. Clair Shores, which is amazing because it's like I've come full circle, coming from St. Clair Shores or leaving Michigan from St. Clair Shores, being in California, coming back to our family home. So I'm able to experience all of these different things that I've been able to bring back with me. And it magnifies here. I didn't know there was such a spiritual community here. Oh, I think she's in. I think she's sitting. Hello, I'm going to see. Oh, she's still working on it. Never mind. There she is. I'm going to do her mic. I'm going to mute mine.
Okay, the bowls that I have, they each resonate with the chakras, starting with the root. Root chakra, our source of safety. When it's healthy, when you are resonating at this vibration, you feel like all your needs are met. You live in abundance. You are safe. You are grounded. And you are rooted to the earth. If you want to participate in the meditation, just close your eyes. Take a deep cleansing breath. Imagine yourself breathing in healing divine white light. When you exhale, you're releasing anything that doesn't serve you. Breathing in divine white light to the root, base of your spine. When I'm not feeling grounded, when I'm concerned about anything money, I use mantras. I am safe. I have everything I need. God provides. We raise up a little bit above to your sacral chakra, a few inches below your belly button. Your sacral chakra resonates with this vibration. You live in joy, creativity. You're passionate about your life. The mantra that I use probably plexus, our own personal sun, our power center. Your solar plexus resonates with this vibration. You feel your strength. You listen to this area. This is your intuition, your gut feelings. I am strong. I'm powerful. we shouldn't be listening to. We start to turn negative programs off. We know that our soul needs the music, the people we want to listen to. Rise up to the middle of our foreheads, our third eye. Many of us are in the process of decalcifying our pineal glands, our third eye, our connection to spirit. We find ourselves eating healthier these days, ingesting less toxins and fluoride. And by meditating and focusing on that area, we are strengthening our pineal gland, our connection to source, knowing. All of us are experiencing more ringing in our ears, sometimes almost like little cracking sounds. That's our pineal glands healing and decalcifying and becoming more open, like our little antennas to vibration, source, picking up signs from the universe. Now we're at our crown chakra, top of our heads. Start to feel a little tingle there. That's spirit connecting. I like to picture that. Imagine that lotus flower, the 1,000 petals on top of my head. Top of each, the tip of each petal is connected to source, to divine light energy. Sometimes I call in a particular guide of mine, an angel. Sometimes they're associated with a color, a scent. Now I'm feeling Mother Mary energy. She shows me a rose and I see her beautiful bright blue. many of us these days. Many of us are going through our healing children, healing childhood wounds. Always call in our Mother Mary, or any divine feminine energy is there to comfort us, give us strength, give us love, open our heart chakras. Thank our spirit guides, Melody, and who decided to join us now and in the future for adding their beautiful spirit energy to this circle. Every time we gather together, we create a vortex of love and light. The violet flame of transformation that is around this earth all the time, transmuting dark, stuck energy quickly. We don't have to go years and lifetimes to heal. We're transmuting. By getting into circles, meditation circles, we are speeding this everyone's ascension process, helping the whole planet to awaken to our truth, to our purpose, our passions. Blanketing this planet in rays of love. Take some more deep cleansing breaths as you come back to the room, receiving more God's love, guidance. Thanking your guides for any messages that you received or will receive.
Namaste. Can you hear me? I'm going to go back to just full page, and then I'm going to have her move close to the camera again.
Okie doke.
Okie doke. Oh, I can hear you.
Okay,
We can hear you. Oh, no, it's choppy.
Do you want?
It's all choppy with both mics on. Yes, I'm gonna come back closer to the camera. So we're gonna let her come back closer to the camera, and then we're having a little bit of problems with the mics. So here she comes. She can hear me, I think, now. Oh, let me turn her mic off until she sits down. And then she's going to focus her camera, you know. So how did you guys enjoy that? There she is. How did you enjoy it, you guys? I would love to know in the chat room. Please put that if you really enjoyed it. And it's a wonderful experience to really experience this in the there I go, the violet flame. I'm gonna say so it's so intense when you're sitting in the violet flame and you're just hearing the sounds. It's amazing. Sandy says, I love it. And you guys have any questions for her? I would love if you guys would ask any questions. Sandra says, thank you. It was lovely. Oh, they said, thank you. It was lovely. It was amazing. So I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it. And it's just an amazing process to hear it and listen to it. So I'm going to mute my mic and I'm going to let Tammy talk a little bit because we're having problems.
Oh, thank you, everyone. Yeah, I never know how it comes across on video or live streaming, so I hope I love it when people are affected by the vibrations. I know how much it changed my life, and especially after that second time, I had a little addiction. I'd have to go out to see John. He was the only one that I knew that did the bowls every Sunday in Ann Arbor, and there's a few people in the area that do them sporadically, but it is my favorite, by far my favorite healing modality. And when I do Reiki sessions, I start off with at least 20 minutes of the bowl meditation because it is so cleansing and clearing for you, and it puts people in a deep relaxation, and it helps me also relax into and connect to my spirits, connect to the person that I am doing the energy work on too. So it's an
So Sharon in the chat room has a question for you. And the question is, when you circle the crystal bowl, are you calling up spirits? What does the chime do?
The chime. When I was in Glastonbury in September, and I went to a healer at this beautiful, they call it the Goddess Center. Oh my gosh, every community should have a Goddess Center. And she used that chime over me. When I work one-on-one, it acts like a pendulum, but there's each of the chimes is a different element. Today I chose earth and air element. And the sound has just a specific connection to so yeah, earth and air. So earth getting grounded and air getting connected to spirit, those two. But I use the Koshi chimes in many different respects, but sometimes they're used for transitions. When I'm in that mode, spirit takes over. So every session's a little different. Sometimes I'm using the gong more, which I didn't today.
So the chimes, can people buy them on like Amazon? If they want to. I mean, I'm becoming addicted to chimes. I've been learning how to compose music, and all of my music, I put chimes in it, and it just floats. And I do chimes with a reverb at the end of it, and it's just amazing. So, can you buy them at places like Amazon, and what would something like a chime run?
This because they had two beautiful sound studio stores in Glastonbury, and I ordered them from them. I bought one when I was there, but I didn't want to buy all four. They were quite expensive. I think 85 pounds they were. But then when I ordered them off their website, I can't remember what the translation but it's Koshi, Koshi. They're made in the Pyrenees Mountains in France, so it has a special, beautiful spiritual sound to me. And again, for me, they especially the air acts as a pendulum for your chakras when I'm doing energy healing. They chime more when your chakras are aligned, when they're in full vibration. So it's interesting to do them before the session and after to see, if the energy work on the throat chakra worked and
Is it? Are they close enough that you could pick one up and show close and show your bowls too? Some of your bowls, if it's close enough for you. And I'm going to turn off my mic for you can move around.
So yeah, so this is air. And they have this inside, there's like a glass piece. I don't know if you can see, and just it's very extremely delicate. They're made with bamboo. Yeah, they are mesmerizing. I have a little holder at home. I didn't bring it in, but
Wow, the sound is beautiful. I could become addicted to those. Definitely. And then you have the different size bowls. And so could you show us a couple of them and show us what chakra that they're used for?
This is third eye. And it's tuned to A and the musical scale. I forgot what the hertz is. I want to say 800 something, and I forgot. So, and this was one of the ones. It was the heart and this third eye that were the bowls that gave me, the nails on the chalkboard the first time, because I was just so blocked. I was blocked with anxiety, storing up here, and heart grief. So it's just funny how, and then when I do the bowls for people, they're like, what was that yellow one? What was that yellow? Well, yellow is emotions, solar plexus. So many of us, especially, men and women, emotions, we just stuff down, just stuff them down. Well, they affect your abdomen area. They give you kidney problems and ulcers and digestive issues because of these emotions that we just haven't dealt with. We just kind of stuffed them down. And, again, it could be lifetimes ago, it could be years ago. And, and it eventually manifests into, illness, could be cancer even. And sound therapy is getting huge. There's lots of scientific information on sound therapy. They can, if they find the cancer cells resonance, they use sound to blow up these cancer cells. It is so cool. I mean, you can research it. It's and it's ancient. I have the Tibetan my Tibetan bowls. These I bring to my classroom. That one was loud. My singing bowls. When I taught middle school, I brought like 3 or 4. We actually did meditations with the middle school. I had my Reiki master come in and we did mass ones in the auditorium, one for 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. And it was so amazing. The kids, they acted like typical middle school kids, but they just were so into it. So I would bring these, and my kids that had a little too much energy for the classroom, they knew that the calmer they got, the louder they can make these bowls sing. And it was just such an interesting, as the bowls got louder, it was actually affecting, the entire classroom. So I have several of these. And I know those, one of my friends just ordered a bunch on Amazon. Some come out better than others. It's always nice. I wish they had these sound stores. I know some metaphysical stores have some that you can practice.
Yeah. So the question I want to ask you, we have also a question from Sharon. Let's do that really quickly. Because then I want to ask, don't let me forget my question. Sharon says, how long can you circle the bowls, and do the times vary?
Yes, most of mine, this was just a short one. My morning ones, I usually do an hour. My group session. And in the evenings, we sometimes go 2 hours. Yeah, some of the people get restless after like an hour and 15 minutes. So I try to see what's going on, or sense what's going on in the group. That, sometimes if I schedule it for an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 5 minutes is enough. And I can sense their energy levels if they've gotten what they've needed. So, and in private sessions, it depends. Again, it's before I have any session, I go into deep meditation and ask spirit to take over. I do Reiki as I'm playing the bowls, so you're also getting Reiki healing and sound therapy at the same time, as we're doing this, and I'm calling in spirit guides. I try to stick with ascended masters, but a lot of times we have relatives that get pretty pesty with me as I'm playing, and grandma really wants a message told to, this sweet little girl there. So if they're persistent, and I know they're in the light, they're in the divine light, and I know it's going to benefit, I do pass the messages on. But it got, at the beginning, it got a little crazy, because I would even have my crystals out to remind myself what message was for each, because I'd have spirits would be lining up as I'm playing the bowls, knowing, oh, I'm going to be able to pass a message to their loved ones. And it became too distracting, and I had to kind of shut that down. Let's save it for a private session, or in my smaller sessions, it wasn't as bad, or
I can understand that completely. When I first started seeing spirit guides, spirits would jump out of the walls, and they would be bouncing off of the walls to want to speak to me, and not letting me, even think. And it got so bad that I had to ask my mentor. I asked her, I says, it's too confusing. There's too much going on. I can't rest. And then she told me what to do, to only request that one spirit guide that was my first spirit guide, Reynold, was that he was supposed to be the one that they all go through. And I can say yes or no to that. And he knew when not to disturb me or when to disturb me. But the question I wanted to ask you was this, because we were talking about the chakras. We're talking about being, caught up in the solar plexus, because that's normally where people get really caught up, is in the first three chakras. So I know what I felt when I first had a whole self-imposed chakra treatment. I learned about it, and I gave myself a chakra with crystals, and I worked up each chakra, the kundalini, what they call it, the kundalini, and I worked it all up. And it was at 3:00 in the morning in Los Angeles when, at the time I got done, and all I wanted to do was go running, and I'm not a runner. And it was not a very safe thing for me to want to do, is to go running, in Beverly Hills, in the middle of the night. So that was my experience. So what was your first experience in working with your chakras, and how did you feel? I'm going to turn off my mic so you can answer that question.
Yes, I went to someone, because another theme I kept hearing, you're so out of balance, you need to be balanced. So I can't even remember I just Googled it, the balancing chakras. And she actually did. Yeah, I forgot about that. She used tuning forks, and some other sound to balance it and balance me. And she told me what, it was common. Back then it was my throat chakra, not speaking my truth. And but I left there just floating. And I just told people, I just feel lighter. I felt so much lighter. I couldn't put a name. It wasn't a particular chakra, but I think she had worked with all of them. And that was the first probably official balancing and sound therapy. And that happened 6 months before I even was introduced to the bowls. I wish I remember her name. I need to go back. She's in the Detroit area, Rochester, I think it was. But yeah, and that feeling lasted at least 4 or 5 days. And
yeah.
But
So I also wrote everything down, and especially through the moments of the beginning of my awakening. And I have volumes and volumes of things that have happened. And I know they're all implanted in my brain. And if I just meditate, I can think of all of them. But it's really amazing on how many things that you learn in such a short period of time and how it changes your life. What advice would you give to somebody that was starting, that was, watching this show, watching this, and saying, wow, I would really like to learn more about chakras. I would really like to learn about Reiki. I'd like to learn more about the bowls. I'd like to learn about, the crystals, everything. And what advice would you give them? And turn off.
it's the whole listening, learning to listen, and and of course the meditation is key of calming down. And even though I always said I couldn't meditate, I at least tried, and I at least had that morning practice. I always remember I went to Renaissance Unity when Marianne Williamson was a minister there, and she always said the importance of 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the morning spent with your divine light, with your Jesus or whoever you resonate with, will change your entire day. So 5 minutes, who can't give up 5 minutes of calling in? And even if I woke up just out of sorts, I'd still try to commit myself to that 5 minutes. Or if I couldn't, I would write, asking questions, asking angels. I used to get, when I started seeing more and more, I would get, my angels were funny, especially Raphael. And they would be like little children just whining, like, we're so bored. Because they need you need to ask them. We have free will, hanging out. Okay. When is she gonna ask? We can help. We can help her out of this mess, So ask.
I wish mine would have been children. Sometimes they were so freaking serious all the time.
Well,
Except the last.
Saint Germain, he gets like that. He's almost like that parent that like puts his fist in your back, like sit up straight, because I would not own myself, and I would hold back, and so he's that strong, like Archangel Michael energy is with that sword and strong, and I need to call him in.
My
thing.
it's just because it brings up, having conversations. I don't understand the audio problem. We'll find out how it is all afterwards, but I'm having a good time. So when I was introduced to 2 new spirit guides, and that had 4, because I have 5 of them that are the serious ones that really, work with me. And they told me that I would speak to multitudes of people. And I said, I already have. And then I heard this voice go, that was just training. It was like, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. That was training. But any regrets in this path? Have you had any regrets whatsoever?
Not at all. Not at all. And someone who he's in my life right now, not fully awakened. He doesn't realize that he's awakening, but he just said something so key, because I used to tell myself, because leaving teaching was huge for me. Okay, I had, I lost my husband's whole income, got a little bit of pension from him, but 4 kids in college, my grandson's living with me, 2 homes, 2 mortgages, tons of bills. I need money, I don't need less money, I need more. How am I going to trust leaving that secure teaching job to come to woo-woo world, which who knows how many clients I'm going to get, but just listen. And I got the message: trust. I had to trust it, And and I would tell them, yep, I guess I am going to retire. And I get those eyes from everyone. Are you serious? But then I would tell myself, well, I can always go back. I can always go back. I can substitute teach. I can go back to teaching. It's okay. And when he said that the other day, he's like, you never go back. You always go forward. And it's like, bam, yeah, stop saying that. Stop. That's giving myself a little block. Well, I could always go back. No. What, how far I've come. I could never imagine 2 years ago. Oh yeah, I have partners and I have a center and people are, contacting me from all around the world. And, I went, I wrote the book. I haven't published the book, but my blog went viral because I wrote a letter to the president apologizing. So 1 million people have read this letter, and through that letter, they found out, they got on my website. So I'm being contacted from Australia, everywhere, and people that have read my blog and asking for advice and healing, and it's just been amazing. No, I've regretted a moment.
Everything is meant to be, or else it would not have been. That's something that you've learned in allowing and to being one with the universe and one with all that is. I mean, it's an amazing process. But we've come to the end of our show. Do we have anybody would like to ask a last question? That it's like a 16-second lag, so it takes a little bit. But it's been wonderful having you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Monday, for the meditation. I could use some of that. And so one last question that I'll ask you while I'm waiting to see if anybody's going to ask a question in the chat room. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I'm going to turn off my mic.
In 5 years, it's hard to imagine because I've never been that much goal oriented. This life is all about going with the flow. I have a cottage up north on a river, and I sit, and that river just gives me so much peace, and I'm just let spirit lead me. I'm just the passenger. But I don't know. I know I'll be in the healing realm, but I'm a Gemini, so it's every month it's flower essences, sound therapy, I'm gonna learn this modality. So I couldn't tell you. I don't know what I'll be doing in 2 days. It's just whatever lights me up and where spirit is guiding me and my higher self, and I have no idea. Really.
Now I understand the reason why you said you had to focus on, I got your email about coming to the center, and it was at 8:00, but you were gathering at 7, so I missed it by an hour. So it was no way that I could get there. But the phrase that you made, that you needed to really center yourself and because you were at your cabin. You didn't tell me there was a river. Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
So
my entire book was written sitting at that. My dock is falling apart. It's a little dock that's probably 50 years old. It's falling apart, but I would bring my little iPad, my little cordless keyboard, and just write, type. And yeah, my book, hopefully it'll be out soon. It's my website's My New Norm. My husband's name was Norm, so mynewnorm.net. But some of the chapters are on there if you're, and it's like, it's sad, but it's all goofy, humorous, quirky things that I did, and just little anecdotal things, that signs. And
my first book was written at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel in Beverly Hills by the pool. Because I used to cut hair for a living, so I would sit by the pool when I didn't have a client, and that was awesome. I mean, it was beautiful, and I'm not going to tell you what kind of book it is. Sharon said, "You can be with nature, the best place to be." Yes, it is. And I would like to know if you would like to Tammy, take us out with the last words, and then I will switch us then just a couple seconds or whatever you feel like it. Just if you want to.
I
I'm going to turn off my mic.
Okay. Just taking a deep breath, allowing spirit to channel messages through me. I just want to thank everyone that participated in this and added their beautiful love and energy to this session. There are so many angels and guides around us right now, just jumping for joy that we are the way shores. We are the light workers showing up. We stood in line before we were born for these times. These times are amazing. And we are the people helping all the people around us. We're lifting our vibrations so our vibrations affect all life around us and help with this ascension process. Thank you so much, guides, viewers, Melody, for joining us in this beautiful healing vortex of love that we've created that will always exist because love never dies, never ends. Namaste.
Namaste. So thank you so much, Tammy. Thank you. Don't leave the green room. Thank you so much. And I want to thank you all for watching the show, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. And please walk in peace, love, and joy in every moment of your life. Thank you so much.